I opted to hit up Annihilation in theaters alone because no one else would come with me. And now I want to share my thoughts with you. This is one of those very rare instances where I knew nothing going into this movie. I had no idea this was the director of Ex Machina, a movie I loved. I had no idea that it was based on a novel. I should say loosely based. I read afterwards that it has very little in common with the book. The only things I knew about it were that Natalie Portman was in it, my bride Natalie Portman, and that there was a deer with flowers on the antlers. And those two things combined get me to the theater day one. This is one of those movies where you can get out what you put in. It's got layers of depth if you want to dig for it. Otherwise, it's pretty top level stuff. You go in, you kind of figure out what's going on until the movie's over, and then you go, okay, well, that was nice. But then it festers inside. You start to think about some of the intricacies going on, some of the ties in the film. This is a tough film for me. It's got a lot of flaws. It's got a lot of things I love. It was a frustrating watch for the first hour, and then I just kind of let it all play out on its own without really thinking about anything. It got a lot easier to digest. On the one hand, which is this one, the right hand for me, it was a sci-fi, trippy, fantastical, beautiful shot, well-acted film, which are all things I like, especially the fantastical stuff. On the other hand, which is the left one, this one here, it has a lot of Alien Covenant DNA built in. A lot of really stupid character decisions, especially in the first half hour. I was like, what the fuck are they thinking on this expedition? What's happening right now? We're going to send 5 ladies into this weird event with no suits on. It seems like their backgrounds aren't really properly trained for what they're going into. Without giving away the barn, that's not a phrase, without spoiling anything, I just want to lay out the groundwork here, a little template of what we have. We have this thing called the Shimmer. It's just kind of a kaleidoscopy, beautiful, watercolored force field around a small area, and it's slowly expanding. Weird shit happens to everything it touches. I'm not going to go any further into it than that. We have had the military presence here. They know about this. They know what's going on. And they're sending people in, and they're not coming out. But the biggest mystery for me is, what military is this? It's American, right? We have the biggest military in the world by far. We spend trillions of dollars on it. Where the fuck are they? From what I can tell, it's a base comprised of 6 women and really nothing else. A few soldiers that go in every now and then, and pretty much nothing. Where are all the giant drones? Where are the ships? Where are the tanks? Where are all the soldiers to help out? There's some stuff touched upon during dialogue. It's kind of like one-off lines here and there where they said, we tried sending some recon, teams in, or some drones, and they broke, or they didn't read right, GPS malfunctioning, yada yada. It is not good enough. I need to see more than that. This is a huge threat to every single life on the planet, not just Americans. This doesn't even need to be an American thing, and it is a covert thing. So for the first hour of this movie, I'm just sitting here frustrated. I'm like, what the fuck? Why aren't they wearing suits? Portman knocks it out of the park. The other ladies, very competent. Their characters aren't the best written. They don't have a lot to do. They're all pretty one note. But Portman, she's doing it. And Gina Carino, I'll give Carino credit. Tessa Thompson's just kind of there. She's playing kind of a quieter, shy nerd. She doesn't have the highlighted role like she did in Thor 3. Have them get a rip in their suit right away, so they're like, oh, well, we don't need these on anymore. Like, you can come up with an excuse. As I said, though, you get past that. Just move past it. You know it now going in. You know it doesn't make sense. Move on. It gets gross at times. It gets uncomfortable. There are 2 or 3 scenes where I was like, I don't need to watch this. It's stomach churning shit. And I'm, drinking a pop, and I'm eating some disgusting food. I'm like, oh, this is really gross. Oh, that's gross. Oh, God. Oh. And by the time we hit the 3rd act, all bets are off. It goes wild. And that's when I really got into it. The music is fantastic. Also slow rolls. It starts out a little bit, kind of wishy-washy, kind of in the background, and by the end it's like Hans Zimmer times 1,000. It's like sound design is phenomenal. My Padme is delivering again like she did in Black Swan. She's on key, she's on point. Movie's like a flower. It just slowly opens, and the more it reveals itself, the more in awe you are by what's happening, from the music, from the visuals, from the acting. And then you get to that final minute of the film, and it all just kind of comes crashing back down. Not a huge letdown, it's just kind of an obvious ending, a bit of a disappointment for me. I was like, that's it. I am a sucker for trippy sci-fi. This one's right up my alley. if it had a few more things addressed, I think it could have been this amazing film that I'd watch over and over. As it stands, I could easily rewatch it. I'm sure I'd pick up on more things I didn't the first time. I know I would, 100%. I just have a hard time getting past some of these annoyances that we still see in modern films, like Alien Covenant. And now here again, it's like, put on a fucking helmet. Just do it. Put it on. And please tell me if you have seen this. I know it's very fresh. It's not even coming to some theaters. I read it's going to Netflix like next month. But when you do eventually see it, please comment. Let me know if I missed something obvious and I'm just sounding like an idiot. It's got some wild ideas. It's got some wild animals, wild concepts. It's worth watching. I'm liking it more as I talk about it. I'm forgetting some of the hang-ups. But yeah, check it out. Let me know what you thought. Thanks for watching.